Hey, do you like pickles? I like pickles too, but not when they're soft and flobbery, and not when they don't taste good. So in order to preserve pickles, they're made using a salt that we use sometimes on the sidewalk, calcium chloride. And if there's not enough of it in the pickles, then they're not going to stay fresh. If there's too much, then they kind of taste metallic, like you're chewing on a piece of metal. And that's not what you want to eat. So at the pickle factory, someone's got the job of making sure that the pickles are preserved correctly with the right amount of calcium chloride. Our job is going to be to analyze how much calcium chloride is in the pickles. So to do that, we're going to use a chemical reaction between the calcium chloride salt, dissolved in water, dissolved in the pickle juice, and sodium carbonate, which is also used in your laundry. I've got solutions of those two materials here. When they're combined, a chemical reaction occurs which forms a white cloudy precipitate called calcium carbonate. That's the stuff that your bones are made out of. It doesn't dissolve in water. We can separate this calcium carbonate from the solution by pouring it through a filter. The amount of calcium carbonate that's made in the reaction depends on how much calcium chloride there was in the original material. So using that, we'll find out how much calcium chloride is in the pickle juice. I'm going to show you how to set up the experiment. So make sure on your bench you find the handwritten procedures, and here's how it works. So each person is going to make their own sample, and what you'll need is a big cup. You can use a Sharpie to put your name on there, and then find a little coffee filter and put it on the balance and write the mass of the filter on the filter using the Sharpie. That way when it gets wet, it won't wash off. And then I'll give you some paper clips that you can use to attach the filter to the cup. And make sure that the paper clips stick out a little bit so that when we're all ready to take the filter out, you can just pull the paper clips off. You don't want them to stay stuck on there too much. And then you'll also need a small cup. And into the small cup, we're going to put a sample of pickle juice, measure out 50 milliliters of pickle juice using the labeled graduated cylinder, so up to the 50 milliliter mark, and put that into your little cup. That smells good. Smells like pickle juice. And then 25 milliliters of the sodium carbonate solution, using the shorter one that's labeled with sodium carbonate. Fill it up to the 25 milliliter line, and then pour that in. You'll see the reaction form the calcium carbonate, the white powdery material. There's not very much of it in there because there's not a whole lot of calcium chloride in the pickles. But we want to get that white powdery material out of the solution and into your filter. You already weighed the filter, so when you pour this mixture in and the liquid goes through, then the calcium carbonate will get trapped in the filter, and we'll let that dry and reweigh it so that we can find out how much was made in the reaction. Now this is the part that you're going to do. The part that I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same steps, but instead of using pickle juice, I'm going to use 4 different quantities of calcium chloride, the stuff that we're trying to measure in the pickle juice. And so if we know how much calcium chloride there is in the reactions, and if we measure how much calcium carbonate each of those reactions makes, then we can use that to plot a standard curve, just like we did with the Pixie Sticks experiment, and use that to analyze how much salt, calcium chloride, is in the pickle juice. So when you're all done, you can just leave your cup, this cup, on your bench. It's going to take a little while to drain and to dry. And when we get ready to the next part, we'll take these off of the cup and we'll reweigh them and use that to do our analysis.